thank you for having me here. I do want to start off Sadyat Yatra Vartante Tatra Devopi Gacchati. Enthusiasm, courage, patience, intelligence, strength, and valor. Where these 6 qualities are present, God has no choice but to be present. My dear friends, it is indeed my privilege to be here at this stage as the chairman of TiE Global Board of Trustees to welcome you all to the TiECON, the 10th edition of TiECON Chandigarh. While I attended the TiECON of the Chandigarh chapter for last 3 years, I visited in various capacities. But this time, it is truly a special moment, not because it's just the 10th edition, but it's also going to be the 10th edition for the TiE Global Summit. Chandigarh as a city has definitely marked made its mark away from just a city known for its urban planning and to a city where a lot of young startups are coming out. So I extend my heartiest congratulations to every entrepreneur in this room. A decade ago, when this particular conference got started, the entrepreneurial landscape in the city and in the country was of a difference. It was evolving. Today, we stand at the forefront of global innovation. The progress we have witnessed at the early stage ventures to unicorns, from local disruptors to the global leaders, is nothing short of phenomenal. Chandigarh, Punjab and Haryana are not just no longer the agricultural powerhouses, but they are now the homes of the startups and redefining the industries. As I travel the world, I see a common theme emerging, and the theme is India is not just participating in the global economy, but we must be proud of one fact: we are shaping that economy. Take UPI for example. You will not be surprised that in the European euros. Consider this company from my good friend Madan's city, Bangalore, Pixel, which is now backed by Google. It is the only company, it is the first company to launch a constellation of satellites so you can get the data imagery at the finest possible, so which even a company like Google got enthralled. Think about the company from my home city, Hyderabad, Skyroot, which is formed by the ex-ISRO scientists, and what the innovations which they are doing in the launching of satellite vehicles. We are no longer the entrepreneurs who are following the footsteps of the Western world or aping what Western world is teaching us, but we are teaching the path to the local, not just the local, but the global entrepreneurial economy. We are the entrepreneurs, we are taking the challenges head on and converting them into opportunities. But we must not stop here. The world, as you know, with the kind of leadership which we have seen in the last couple of months across the global stage, is facing pressing challenges: climate, healthcare, accessibility, sustainability, agriculture. Who better to tackle all these issues but us, the Indian entrepreneurs? So we must ensure that we become the global leaders, the global powerhouses for answering these challenges at a global stage. I recently, in one of the interactions at the TiE Global Summit in Bangalore, met a very young entrepreneur who was trying to create a low-cost solar panels. I was wondering what inspired him. His answer was, kind of took me back. He said, my mother is a big cricket lover and I couldn't see her losing the power cuts at the middle of the cricket game, right? So that is the kind of inspiration which the local rural entrepreneurs are taking Sometimes the necessity and little motherly nudge is what makes us this thing. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of the economy. Entrepreneurs are the real engines of the economic growth. We all take risks, we create jobs, and we push ourselves beyond boundaries, and we push the boundaries of the economies. And that is where, and that is why TiE exists, and that is why TiE should exist. We exist to mentor, we exist to fuel the journey. The TiE is not an organization, but it is a movement. It is a movement of entrepreneurs. Today, we are more than 5 lakh community members across 15 countries in 63 chapters. We have 50,000 mentors and mentees. We have 15,000 investors. We have created direct wealth of more than $1 trillion. We have created more than 2.5 million jobs. That is TiE for you, and that is why we all are here. And right from here, from the town of Chandigarh, we have 2 global leaders. Harit, who is heading the TiE University, Ritika, who is part of the TiE Women, one of our 5 global programs. TiE University, TiE Young Entrepreneurs, TiE Nurture, TiE Angels, TiE Women. As we all know that tomorrow is the TiE Women's Day, we have created a scale, breadth and width beyond what we imagined 8 years ago with the program of TiE Women. Today, at the 10th edition of TiE Global Summit, which will be from December 3rd to 5th in Jaipur, we are going to celebrate this movement from various countries, various continents, and across the length and breadth of, the ecosystem of TiE. I must stand in front of all of you and congratulate my colleague Madan Pariki, who has set a new benchmark with more than 17,000 entrepreneurs visiting TiE Global Summit last December in Bangalore. My hats off to you, Madan, and that is of something, and I am hoping that we take that passion, that energy from one stage to another stage, from one chapter to another chapter, from one city to another city. This is, as I said, let me repeat it, this is not just a movement that thrives on mentorship, collaboration, and shared success. We are of a unique kind. This is the only organization where our charter members pay annual fee to give back, so that we would like to see the other entrepreneurs come up. We, the entrepreneurs, would like to share the experiences, the blows which we received, and we teach, as Ms. Auluwali has said, how to true to be yourself, and that is what we all are here, so that we all can be true to ourselves, our kin, our fellow entrepreneurs. Today, I urge every entrepreneur in this room to think beyond the local markets. Don't just build for Chandigarh or build for the globe, not just for India. Think about the best biotech innovation comes from the lab in Panchkula. Think about the best global brand that can come, consumer brand, can come from the Ludhiana. Think what we can do about the next AI breakthrough from Chandigarh. Can we all promise ourselves that in next 10 years, Chandigarh becomes that powerhouse of entrepreneurs? So, my friends, my fellow entrepreneurs, my fellow dreamers, I say this: dream big, act even bigger. Yes, challenges will come, but remember, the ship was not designed to stay in the harbor. It was meant to sail. Take bold risks, embrace innovation, and turn ideas into global impact. As we celebrate a decade of TiECON Chandigarh, let us commit to making the next 10 years even more transformative. Let's create, innovate, and lead the world from here. Karmanye vadikarasya ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaretur burme sangotma karmanaha You have the right to perform your duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Don't be attached to the results and don't be inclined towards inaction. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Well, I was planning on reciting that from the Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye Vadhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana. You stole it from me, but no worries, I can forgive you on that. Yeah, you've been peeking at my notes all morning. But that's okay. I'll forgive you for that. Anyways, so I would also just like to add that smooth seas never made a skilled sailor, right? And that is what entrepreneurship is all about. That is what TiE is all about, nurturing the inside to see the outside flourish. Thank you so much, Mohali, for that keynote, and may I request our President, TiECON Chandigarh, Mr. Satish Kumar Arora, to come up. As also, could I request Sardar Rashpal Singh Dhaliwal, President, Chandigarh Group of Colleges and Chairman, CGC Janjeri, to come up and felicitate Mr. Murli Bukapatnam, Chair, TiE Global. It is an honor to have Sardar Rashpal Singh Dhaliwal with us this morning. Could I request our President, Mr. Satish Kumar Arora, to felicitate him. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a loud round of applause for Sardar Rashpal Singh Dhaliwal, President, Chandigarh Group of Colleges and Chairman, CGC Janjeri. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we move forward to the next item on the agenda. They say that nothing is faster than the speed of light, but I choose to disagree because the future of digital payments in India is turning out to be slightly faster than the speed of light, or so it feels like, with India's digital payments landscape evolving at such speed, transforming how 1 billion people transact day in and day out. First up, please give it up for our respected speaker, Mr. Bipinpreet Singh, founder and CEO, MobiKwik, who brings unparalleled expertise in fintech, digital payments, and financial inclusion. As also, I would now like to invite our moderator, Mr. Brahm Alreja, founder, Innovative Incentives and Rewards Private Limited, indeed a visionary entrepreneur and marketing strategist with 14 plus years of experience in loyalty programs, consumer engagement, and digital innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Cash 2 Clicks, the future of digital payments, the story of MobiKwik. All yours, sir.
Hello. So I think I have overcome the stage fear, Niharika. My mic is working. So before I even try and introduce Bipinji, which is a very hard thing to do, I have a quick question for the audience. And there is a reward for everybody who tries an attempt to answer it correctly. कितनों को पता है कि 2000 के नोट में चिप लगी हुई थी? But everybody did hear it, right? So let me reverse the entire scenario altogether, or rather, let me not reverse it. I have sitting next to me, for everybody who has traveled all the way to come and see us, Mr. Bipinpreet Singh, first generation entrepreneur, founder and CEO of MobiKwik Payments, who actually has put money into the chip. I'm pleased to say that they are the first one to introduce the central bank digital wallet, which is the e-rupee in India outside banking. May I have a big round of applause for MobiKwik and Bipinpreet ji for putting note into a chip.
Thank you very much, Brahmji. It's a pleasure to be here in the city, beautiful. Sat Sri Akal, Namaste everyone. Usually I get invited to events to Delhi, in Delhi or Bangalore or Bombay, but Brahmji invited me to the city beautiful and he said, you must come. And I said, yes, of course, I have to come and explore the startup ecosystem and the TiE ecosystem in Chandigarh.
So we'll quickly jump into the business in the interest of time, though I want this to keep going on. But we had Bipinji on stage, Mr. Yash Sabu, founder of Ethos Watches yesterday. He was sharing his journey. And there's one important point that he made was that families stand rock solid behind your business as a startup founder, as an entrepreneur. Versus a couple of months ago, Mr. Narayan Murthy, founder of Infosys, said that he didn't want a family stake into his business when he started. You are into MobiKwik as a couple. So how has it been and how is it going around on both, how is it balancing both the scenarios?
Yeah, so I think it's a long answer. So just for everyone to know, I, along with Upasana Thakur, who's my co-founder, we run MobiKwik. And just a background, we started MobiKwik way back in 2009. And we took the company, scaled the company, raised multiple rounds of funding, and eventually we did an IPO in the last quarter of 2024. So now we are. But we scaled the company to more than $100 million of revenue last year and a profitable fintech. We operate in the world of payments, digital credit, distribution, etc. But I am a first generation entrepreneur. And my father actually used to run a shop. And he used to sell wool, which he used to get from Ludhiana. There's a company called Vardhaman and Oswal, where he used to get wool and used to sell in a town in Odisha called Rourkela. And I used to sit on the shop on the cash counter when I was very young. But then after that, in 1984, the riots happened. And we actually, as family, we were uprooted. We came to Delhi, and we had a pretty tough time. And 5 of us, I'm the eldest in the family. We used to live in a one-room house. And my father used to say that you've lost everything, but there's only one thing no one can take away from you, which is that if you're smart and if you're educated and if you study, you will do well. And fortunately, I was very good in maths. And I used to score 100 on 100 on maths when I was in grade 6 and grade 7. And that helped me get into IIT. So I got into IIT Delhi. I studied. But still, our economic situation as a family, we were not good at all. And as we were developing, my family expected me to get into a job and start earning. So my first job was at a company called Intel. It's an MNC, American MNC, where I used to design chips. And then I worked in it was in Bangalore. And then I worked at NVIDIA. I'm sure you've all heard of NVIDIA now. It's the AI, making AI GPUs. So when I told my family, especially my mom, that I am going to give up my job and start a company. And we had no capital, right? I was working for 6-7 years. I had some 2-3 lakhs of provident fund. And I think unfortunately, the ecosystem of angel ecosystem was not there at that time. And so literally, it was the money that I had, and I was in two minds whether to start or not start, or whether to move ahead. And it is then I met Upasana. And she had come back from US after working at PayPal. And she went to Stanford, worked at PayPal, but she wanted to give back to the country, and she came back. And then we met, we became friends. And then she told me that, this is one life. And we were in our late 20s, both of us. So, jo karna hai, wahi karna hai. Whatever you have to do it now. So, with that spirit, we jumped into it, both of us. We were, of course, only friends that time. started dating, not yet married, but we said, okay, we were living together and we put a computer on our dining table. And we said, let's start working. Because that is the power of technology, that is the power of software. And that's how MobiKwik was born. And you know, the first 5 people of MobiKwik, they used to work on that table in a 3-bedroom apartment in Dwarka. And of course, you know, from there on, there were lots of ups and downs. And the question that you've asked is about how to work as a couple. I don't think I would have even started if it was not for Upasana.
Wonderful. So for all the wannabe entrepreneurs out there and those who are thinking that it is tough, yes, it is tough, but is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And how big? This big. There is no less of what you can actually achieve today. And if minus the ecosystem that was available then versus now, if you have the right intent, I think it's great for it. Before we move further, again back to the audience, how many of you are actually aware of the e-rupee that RBI has initiated? Cool, so not a lot of them. So maybe that's something that we would take your time to enlighten the audience of what e-rupee is, how is it different from UPI, and what is that made you believe and you made the first move outside any regular bank which would have actually done it, which is one of things that I personally feel proud knowing you, that's such a great thing to do, and I would really want you to brief the audience on a bit on the digital currency.
So thank you. So I'll come to e-rupee in a moment, but you know, I want to tell a little bit about MobiKwik. So MobiKwik was born as a wallet. We started as a mobile wallet even before the term fintech was there. People call us fintech. You know, that's a broader term. But when we started MobiKwik, there was no fintech. Fintech is combined of 2 terms, finance and technology. We are a technology company. What we do is we make finance easy, accessible, cheaper via technology. So of course we started as a wallet. We have more than 150 million people in India who use MobiKwik as a wallet. We also have UPI. But you know, the interesting thing about technology world is, and the world that we live in, you know, is everything is getting upgraded all the time. Everything is getting innovated all the time. So while UPI you have used, wallet you have used, but the next innovation that's coming is CBDC, which is centrally backed digital currency. A lot of you might have heard of things like Bitcoin, for example, or Ethereum, or any of the cryptocurrencies. Now these are basically nothing but currencies which are based on a blockchain. In India, you know, the establishment and the government have decided that they don't want to support these decentralized currencies. Rather, India will build its own currency, which is e-rupee. So in that sense, e-rupee is like Bitcoin, but it is centralized. It is issued by the Reserve Bank of India, and 1 e-rupee is same as 1 rupee of cash. 5 rupees, e-rupee is the same as 5 rupees of cash. Now you may ask, if UPI is there, why do I need it? Why do I need digital rupee? I think UPI still has some constraints. In UPI, what happens is you are transferring money from bank account to a bank account, or a wallet to a wallet. Still, sometimes transactions may fail. And of course, your banker is always watching, you know, what transactions you are doing. That is why, even though after so many years of demonetization and so much success of digital payments, in India, the usage of cash is still very, very high. And all of you still use cash, I know that. And so, e-rupee is nothing but digital version of that cash, which is being created by the Reserve Bank, and they have chosen few technology companies to partner so that on the MobiKwik app, you can go and you can put 5 rupees or 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees of e-rupee in your wallet, instead of keeping 5,000 rupees of cash in your physical wallet. And you can transfer it to anyone just like you transfer cash. It's instant. And the second big advantage is anonymous. For example, if I give you cash, nobody knows, the world doesn't know I gave you cash. So e-rupee has the same advantages. It is anonymous, it is instant. So in that sense, it is superior because actually it removes the dependency of banks. So you don't need to keep money in a bank. Just like cash, you put it in the blanket. That cash now you can keep in your phone and not with any bank. So it's a new innovation. It will take time to adopt, but I think the kind of opportunities it has, it's really immense.
So you've heard it, non-traceable. Okay. Vipinji, you have been one of few fintech companies, those who went public recently. First of all, congratulations for that. One thing that a lot of audience would not know, and even I had to pick this up after a lot of research that I did, how would the audience feel if I told you that most of the times when there is a public offering comes in, you hear, इसने इतने पैसे बना लिए, उसने उतने पैसे बना लिए, उसने ये शेयर डाउनलोड किया, उसने ऑफलोड किया, whatever the technical terms is. I am really pleased to say that when MobiKwik went public, the founders didn't sell a share. And nor did any of the current investors sell a share, which speaks of the sheer confidence everybody had in them. Also more, they set a trend which was unheard of when going public. How? मतलब कैसे? ये क्या किया आपने?
So I think, there is a misconception that when you are doing IPO or going to the public, वो कहते हैं ना आप शेयर चिपका रहे हो मार्केट में. That's not the way we think or we believe about MobiKwik. Many people think of IPO as the end. You start a company, you raise funding, you scale the company, then you do IPO. What we believed is IPO is a milestone. It's of course a very critical milestone, but MobiKwik has to go very, very long. And I along with Upasna, generally in the startup world, founders own very little in the company. And so I and Upasna, even before we did the IPO, we own 1/3 of the company, which is about 34-35%. Usually, that is not the case for companies which have raised $100, $150 million, $200 million of cash. So our vision always was that MobiKwik has to scale maybe 10x or 50x from where it is. So why should I sell my shares? Because I expect my share to be much more valuable. And that's a thought that was shared with our shareholders also, all the investors. We have very high quality shareholders. We have the likes of Peak 15, which was Sequoia. We have Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, American Express, Cisco, you name it. All of them, Bajaj Finance, they're all our shareholders. And not one of them sold a single share in the IPO. So I think the belief is that India's fintech opportunity, India's opportunity in general for business, new business, is really, really huge. So we went to the market to raise capital. So we raised about close to 600 crores, which went into the company, and the company is going to use it to scale the business.
Since you went public, like I was personally very closely following a lot of road shows, a lot of informations that were floating around it, right? And at TiE and TiECON, we have been promoting the idea of the concept of idea to IPO, right? Now that you're here, in terms of regulations and in terms of how did it actually happen, is it as rosy as it looks, or is it still the same when it comes to cutting those red tapes?
In terms of IPO, there is a joke, going on. Mr. Jaspal Bhatti, late Mr. Jaspal Bhatti had in his show. I don't know if all of you remember that PP water ball joke. A lot of people think that that is what IPO is, but really it is not that. IPO is, or going public is, your shares are going to be owned by the public. It's very simple. And so, for that to happen, your company has to have certain standards. It needs to have governance. It needs to have proper audits, proper accounting system in place, proper reporting. And ideally, it should also be profitable. But having said that, many people think that you have to make it a very big company before you can go public. That is not the case. That is not the case. In India now, there is also a small medium exchange IPO, SME IPO, where there was a in Delhi there was a dealer of Yamaha who went public, if you remember, and they raised a bunch of money. Now people think of that as a joke, but really, actually, it's not the case. Even if your scale of your company is small, going public may have many advantages, and the advantages is public owns your stock, raising money becomes easy, getting debt becomes easy, and in general you earn respect and credibility. I can tell you, it's been only not even 3 months that we are public, and even within these 3 months, now people have a certain newfound respect for MobiKwik. We were doing well, we were the same business, but now we are seen in a different light because we have crossed a very important threshold. So I think that more and more companies, at least in India, should go public in India. Because if in India, if you see, I don't know how many of them invest in stock markets, almost everyone, right? Almost all of you also own mutual funds. Where is that money going? That money is going to to buy the shares of the companies which are listed in India. How many shares of big companies you are going to buy? Ultimately, new companies will come, and that is going to move the economy forward. So I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to, I would say, participate in for the next 20 years to grow India and create companies which can go public.
Great. When we talk about fintech, there is a lot, I believe we've just started. There's nothing, we see UPI transactions soaring all in, day out, the GST collections happening, but I think there's a long way we have to go into fintech. As MobiKwik and as a leader in fintech, where do you see that in the next 5 years is what fintech is heading to when it comes to the country? That's one, and the supplementary to it or in the continuing to it would be a lot of tier 2, tier 3 remote villages are still not that deeply rooted into the fintech liberalization that is happening. How, as MobiKwik, do you plan to make them financial literate so that they can manage their entire money from spend to borrow to lend? What is MobiKwik's vision to that part of it?
Yeah, a great question, Ramji. So, see, fintech is meant to make finance equally accessible to everyone. So the term that we use in finance is called financial inclusion. Everybody in this room, we have everything. We have bank account, we have smartphone, we use UPI. If we need a loan, we go to the bank will give us a loan. If we want to invest, we know how to invest, where to invest. Some advisor is going to call us, sir, Ramji, idhar paise daal do. Or put this or do that. But this is not India. The real India is much beyond this, much beyond Chandigarh, much beyond Gurgaon. They live in small towns and villages. They do small business. They have incomes which are maybe around 1 lakh or even lower than 1 lakh per month, 30,000 to 40,000. In a city like Gurgaon, I see people who work for us, like a driver or a maid or people like them. Their incomes are now 25,000 to 30,000 rupees per month, easily. Now, they have now some money, but they don't have the access. They may be using digital payments, but if they need money, chit fund scheme mein, put some money here, so people get duped. So there is a big opportunity in India beyond the top cities, metros, to take financial literacy and access to financial products. Everyone in India should be able to use digital payments, should be able to invest, even small amounts, 100 rupees. For example, all of you also own gold, I'm sure. Right? How do you own gold? You go to your favorite jeweler and you tell him, "Ki yaar, mereko itna gold kharidna hai," whatever is the amount. And you tell him, "Okay, tell me on the best rate and buy." Imagine a cab driver or a food delivery rider in a big city like Bangalore or Hyderabad or in Gurgaon. They make 1,000 rupees per something called digital gold. So you can buy gold for as low as 10 rupees or 100 rupees, which is in digital form. And the price of gold appreciates like it has. So you start saving money. Similarly, you need money. You can apply for a loan on MobiKwik app. You can get as low as 20,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees loan instantly. So this opportunity to the masses of India is a very, very big opportunity. MobiKwik is playing across the board in digital credit, in digital investments, and of course in digital payments.
Great. So with all those heavy things that you're doing, let's lighten it up a bit. Comes to my favorite part, rapid fire, and I can only assure you the last two ones have a lot of common between us. Back in 2009, if you were to go, what would you do differently if you were to recreate MobiKwik?
I would get out of my home and talk to more people and find out people like you to talk to learn more about the real world. And the reason I'm saying this, because, see, I'm an engineer, or most all engineers are all introverts.
Okay, you cannot include Upasana ji into it, but then one decision that changed the course of MobiKwik.
I think the decision was pretty early on. Though we say that we are co-founders, I actually started MobiKwik. Upasana kept pushing me, ki kar lo, kept supporting me. And for the first 6 months, she was not part of MobiKwik, but she was doing all the work. And then one day, I told her, "You are doing everything. Why don't you join and be part of the journey?" So, and we've seen what has happened.
I could see that coming, but then I still have to ask. One fintech trend that you're most excited about in the next 5 years, given the current fintech trends that we are seeing?
I'm very excited about CBDC, as I already said, e-rupee, and I think it can become as big as UPI. And of course, UPI has become so big. And I think that's one thing which I'm very excited about. And the other trend which I see is that, I hope the regulations in this country around finance, they also become more easier because they have made life a little difficult for a lot of companies and a lot of people. So I hope that also changes.
UPI versus wallets?
Well, we started as a wallet, so we support both, but I have a soft corner towards wallet, and the reason for that is that, if you're doing your everyday payments, up 5 rupees di chai or 10 rupees da, pakoda, why do you want to do that from your bank account when you can do that from your wallet? So wallet is a much better solution, safer solution for all small transactions compared to UPI.
Is cashless digital India even practical?
So, if you walk in the corridors of RBI, the regulator, they don't talk about cashless, they talk about less cash. And there is a difference. We want to reduce cash, but we can never say get rid of cash.
One startup outside fintech you wish you had invested early?
Oh, there's many. I mean,
One.
I mean, there's many. See, there's a company which is listed in India. It's a company called Delivery. I don't know if you know. It's a logistics company, India's largest logistics company. When I was working from our office, the people who started Delivery, they came to our office asking for guidance and help.
Great. What fintech idea we are not talking about? Idea, product, vision, version, however you want to put it.
I think there are many. I mean, but specifically, if you say one vision is making voice-based products for the market. Abhi everything is through app. It's very difficult for many people who don't understand English and cannot understand how to type. So if somebody wants to think of doing something over voice, and now with AI, which is there, voice, AI and fintech, it's a deadly combination.
One superpower you wish you had as a founder?
Sorry, could you repeat?
One superpower you wish you had as a founder?
I am not good in sales. A very, very poor salesman. So I wish I could improve on that.
Brings me to my most two interesting facts, two questions that I've been waiting to ask. Just to bring to everybody's notice, Bipin Preet is also an avid rider. I also ride bikes. So this is one-on-one. How many applications did you have to make to your wife to let you have one?
So I had to spend 1 year to convince my wife, my mother, my mother-in-law, and my son, who's 7 years old at the time, to give me consent to buy a bike.
One route that you would want to do on a Ducati?
I have not done the route that everybody wants to do, which is Leh Ladakh, so you have to take me there someday.
MobiKwik in one word.
Well, we are relentless and we make finance possible.
With that brings me an end to my session. We'll have one quick question from the audience quickly. Anybody, please. Please.
Bipin, you mentioned about the cashless or the e-money. How is that going to change the black money? I mean, isn't that promoting black money in the disguise of policies?
So when you have a physical note, that physical note has a serial number, right? And by that serial number, it is traceable because it's issued by RBI. Now the same thing is going to happen with the digital rupee. Ultimately, the only difference is it's issued by RBI, not kept by your bank. It's on a blockchain. It is not impossible to trace, but no banker, no income tax official, none of those people can get access to it. So it's a trade-off.
With that, we come to end of this session, which could have kept going all day. From everybody at TiE, thank you so much for coming. May we have a big round of applause.
Thank you everyone to listen patiently. Thank you.
Need to do something about this. The moment I start speaking, the mic never switches on, but we'll figure that out later. Thank you so much for that wonderful and lovely session, and I do agree with you, it should have gone on, but in the interest of time, we just can't. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Bipin Preet Singh, founder and CEO, MobiKwik, and Mr. Brahm Alreja, founder, Innovative Incentives and Rewards Private Limited. Could I make a small request to Mr. Jaswinder Singh, Tech Prastish Software Solutions, and Mr. Sumit Singh, B Solver Technologies, to come up and felicitate our respective panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bipin Preet Singh, founder and CEO, MobiKwik. Incentives and Rewards Private Limited. You can go on and applaud, I won't mind. Also, before we can let them off the dais, we have a little video to show you. Can we have the video, please? In this world where everything moves faster than the speed of light, MobiQuick brings you digital payments in a much faster way as well. Let me now lead you on to the next session, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we're all stories in the end, whether it's about life in general or the life of your business. So it's important to make sure that we write good stories for ourselves. With that, I lead you to thriving on digital gold, leveraging content for business success. Because in today's digital-first world, content is more than just storytelling. It may begin at storytelling, but it definitely doesn't end there. And to make this conversation easier and bring the best out of it, let me invite our moderator first on the dais, Mr. Sumit Sachdev, FCCA, founder of Lucria, ex-KPMG professional, Cambridge University alumnus, chess enthusiast and theatre lover. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our moderator, Mr. Sumit Sachdev. Let me now invite on the dais our first speaker, Mr. Jivraj Singh Sachar, startup storytelling expert, venture capital analyst, and host of India's #1 business podcast, Indian Silicon Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Jivraj Singh Sachar. And now, also, give a loud round of applause for our next speaker, Mr. Amit Damani, co-founder Vista Rooms, India's fastest growing budget hotel aggregator, avid reader and marketing expert. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Arun Damani. I would also like to request our next speaker, Mr. Arjun Vaidya, to come up on the dais. He's built Dr. Vaidya's into India's largest online Ayurveda brand, now investing and mentoring startups via his venture, V3 Ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Arjun Vaidya and for Mr. Simarpreet Singh, CEO, Harteg Group and founder of Harteg Solar, Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia TEDx speaker and national renewable energy leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Simarpreet Singh. And with that, I hand it over to our moderator to take this conversation forward.
What a power-packed panel, guys. Give it up for all the panelists, please, once again. Thank you. So, just to throw a few numbers before we start the conversation, the average age of this panel is about 32, 33 years old. The average waist size is about 32 inches. But the combined net worth of, or rather the valuation of the combined panel is more than $1 billion. So we're all fit. Most of these gentlemen are very, very wealthy. They've been successful, and they're big on content. They're big on social media as well. Give it up for the panelists once again, please. I'm going to dive straight into our discussion, and we're going to start with a few questions, and then we'll end with a rapid fire in the end. To begin with, I have a question for Arjun and Amit, please. As founders scaling businesses with strong digital footprint, how have you integrated content into your growth strategy? Please, Arjun, if you would like to.
Amit, you go first. Look, I think when we were growing up, ads were still not so prevalent. You remember ads. Like, I remember so many ads from my childhood. I remember so many jingles of ads from my childhood. Today, on average, a user sees more than 1,000 branded pieces of content every single day, right? And so, you are cutting through a massive clutter, and a massive clutter of information overload. Whether it is this board behind us, there are like 25 brands here, and there are these faces and then some more information, and then there is people trying to talk, right? So in all that information, how are you able to find a way to cut through the clutter is the most relevant thing today. As a digital first brand, it is your job and responsibility in this world of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, ads everywhere. Open any news publication on the left, right, front, back, in between the article as well as an ad. In all of that you're paying for, how do you create a message that stands out is very relevant, right? Now, we had one rule at Dr. Vaidya's, and that rule was that whatever content you're sharing on your Instagram, the first rule was, Happy Diwali is not relevant. Nobody cares if you're wishing Happy Diwali or talking about a discount. And the second rule was every single piece of content that you share, you have to want to share on your personal story. Else it's irrelevant, right? Because if you are not caring about it, why should the user care about it? I think in that, you create some sort of education, value add and memorability. And that is sort of a really important part of the way you have to create content. The other thing I will add is as brands, you start feeling like you have to push out a lot of messages about your product. But the brands that succeed, and I hope Amit agrees as well, are the ones that think like they are creators. That think that they are creating a page, not just to push a product, but to add value to a user's life. And if you're able to do that, you're able to really give something, rather than just taking and pushing, then you're doing something different.
So value add is what I hear from you, Arjun. Great. Amit, would you please?
Yeah, I think for us, what's been interesting is that we're in the entire business of selling dreams and aspirations and happiness, right? We want to make people, actually we don't even have to make people want to go on holidays, they want to go on holidays. We just have to show them content that appeals to them. So luckily for us, all our properties, these beautiful homes that have been built across the country, are just visually so appealing that they automatically do everything that we need to do. So all we need to do is just tell their story, and people will then add it to their bucket list. So our goal is how do we get it added to their bucket list, which is on Instagram, it's like sharing it, or it could be about a product, it could be about a person. At the end, it's about telling those stories that people can relate to. But the second and third thing I would say with respect to content is that it's not just about you talking about it, but others also talking about it. For us, one way of making others talk about it is the whole content creators, influencers who then start speaking about it. In our business, it's about them going and staying at the property and actually experiencing and showcasing it, which again makes it aspirational for others. And the third is when any consumer, any guest who stays over there, if Jivraj goes and stays at the property, what will make him share it on his social media? So I think from a growth strategy, it's about not just you pushing out content, as Arjun said, it's not about you trying to just sell your product, but it's actually something which you care about, which will automatically lead to someone else also caring about it. That's really critical, and then automatically others will also start speaking about it. So the growth sort of strategy is that आप करिए जो relevant है, फिर दूसरे लोग करेंगे जो आप जिसको आप जानते हो. Third is automatically people will start doing it.
So network effect about experiences is what I hear from you. Lovely, fantastic. So next up for Jivraj and for Simar, both of you have built extremely strong personal brands, and both of you have had absolutely different journeys as well. How has content shaped your journey as an entrepreneur? Jivraj, I'd like to start with you, please.
Sure. Thank you so much, and super delighted to be on the panel. It's my first time in Chandigarh. I'd love to do a quick poll before I even get started to get a sense of the room. How many people here are founders, CEOs, business owners? Can you raise your hand? Awesome. How many people aspire to do content in some shape or form on LinkedIn, Instagram, any platform? Awesome. How many people under the age of 30 in the room?
Jivraj is only 26, guys. He's
How many
only
people
26.
in the range of 30 to 40 in the room? Okay, I get a better sense of the room now. Having said that, thanks for the question. I think in my case, content provides leverage to be in rooms and have access to people who are otherwise inaccessible. For instance, this panel is a great example. I've now known Arjun for the last 4.5, 5 years. He has seen me on my first podcast. He has seen me on my 200th podcast. He has seen me on my first angel check. He's seen me on my 30th angel check. He's now seeing me raise a fund. Similarly with Amit, I got to know him because of a common friend of ours whom I hosted on the podcast. He connected me, he became a great friend. This is Neil of Robin Hood Army. He then connected me to Amit. We got connected. He invested in my syndicate. Then I hosted him on the podcast as well because of the great work that he's doing with his company, right? So this is to show that if you do the right kind of things, and it could be building a viral product in the age of AI, building one of the best consumer products that you possibly can, starting a podcast, it has very little to do with how much traction it gets, but a lot to do with how much value, like Arjun also mentioned, it adds. For me, it was about getting great guests and having great conversations with them. It's not just enough that I get an Arjun, Amit on the show. It matters what kind of conversation I have with them. Because you will go and watch podcasts of me. I want to collaborate with Jivraj. I will talk to him when he approaches me, or I want to approach him myself. That matters to me. And that sort of played out incredibly well in my journey, and that is the leverage that I have earned because of what I do with the podcast. And that is necessary to know. Simar and I were chatting. I grew from 10,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in a year. But I was doing the podcast for 3 years before that as well. I didn't change inputs as much. I was doing the same input. And it was not like the reward beyond the subscribers was any different either. People who watched my podcast would still respect it. People on the dais, like Amit was telling me that he watched a podcast of mine. It matters to me who watches my podcast, less as to how many number of people. So I think leverage is what I have learned in my journey. It is about earning the credibility of doing great work, adding true value, earning the right to be in rooms that you don't have access to, and then making the most out of those opportunities. In my case, it was via investing. In my case, it was opening doors to other people, and that has really helped my journey.
Great, lovely, fantastic. Simar.
यार टाई चंडीगढ़ में तो ना तालियां तुलियां मार दो, क्या हो रहा है? This platform has grown from कहाँ से कहाँ पहुँच गया है. But यार मुझे ना पर्सनल ब्रांड वर्ड से बड़ी नफरत है. पर्सनल ब्रांड आज के टाइम पे क्या बन गया है कि जिसके ज्यादा फॉलोअर्स हैं उसका अजी पर्सनल ब्रांड बड़ा अच्छा है. नहीं होता यार, वो फॉलोअर्स लोग खरीद लेते हैं और पर्सनल ब्रांड बन गया, ऐसे नहीं बनता. मुझे ऐसा लगता है जो वर्ड पर्सनल ब्रांड है ना, मुझे बहुत ज्यादा खराब लगता है. पर्सनल ब्रांड पता किनका होता है? आपके फादर का था, आपके दादाजी का था, आपके नानी जी का था. पर्सनल ब्रांड वो होता है कि जो लोग वाउच करें कि यार ये बंदा ना मुश्किल के टाइम खड़ता है. एक्चुअली हमने ना डेफिनेशन चेंज कर दी. हमने पूरी आज के टाइम पे एक 20 साल के बच्चे को डेफिनेशन ही चेंज कर दी हमने कि पर्सनल ब्रांड क्या होता है. द फोकस, फंडामेंटल फोकस शुड बी कि भी हम वैल्यू क्या क्रिएट कर रहे हैं. वो वैल्यू क्रिएशन जो जिवराज भी बात कर रहा है, वैल्यू क्रिएशन क्या है? मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं. मैंने जब 15-16 महीने हो गए जब पॉडकास्ट स्टार्ट किया, मैंने एक चीज एनालाइज कर रहा था कि जितने भी लोग पॉडकास्ट पे लोग बुला रहे हैं ना, जो लास्ट 10-15 साल जो स्टार्टअप्स, ऐसे तो है नहीं कि ये 10-15 साल में बने. स्टार्टअप्स तो 1960 में भी हुए थे. एक फर्स्ट जनरेशन, इंडिया के जो फर्स्ट जनरेशन थे उन्होंने बनाए ना, जिन्होंने सेंसेक्स 30 बनाई, निफ्टी 50 जो भी हम बोलते हैं, राइट. तो मुझे ना ये बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती थी कि हम इनको क्यों ग्लोरीफाई करते हैं, हमारी जनरेशन को ग्लोरीफाई क्यों कर रहे हैं. एक रजनी वेक्टर को जिसने क्रीमिका बनाया है उसको कोई लेके नहीं आ रहा पॉडकास्ट पे. एक एवॉन साइकिल जो ओंकार पावा जी ने बनाया उनको कोई लेके नहीं आ रहा, उनके कोई बात नहीं कर रहा. एएस मित्तल जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी ट्रैक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी चला रहे हैं होशियारपुर में, थर्ड इंडिया के थर्ड लार्जेस्ट है, वर्ल्ड के 5th लार्जेस्ट है, उनको कोई लेके नहीं आ रहा. सो फोकस क्या था? पर्सनल ब्रांड नहीं फोकस था. फोकस था ये जो लेजेंड्स हैं जिन्होंने भारत बिल्ड किया है, इनकी स्टोरी तो हम बता ही नहीं रहे. इनकी स्टोरी लेके आओ. पर्सनल ब्रांड रिवॉर्ड अवार्ड ना बाई प्रोडक्ट है. सो दैट इज द फोकस. एंड ये जो वर्ड फिक्सेशन है ना, मैं मतलब हम अभी ऊपर बैठ के ही बात करें तो फिक्सेशन है जो बच्चों को भी हमने दे दिया. बहुत से यंगस्टर्स यहाँ बैठे हैं, वो ना हटना ही पड़ेगा. फोकस शुड बी कि भाई आप क्या चीज में सही हो और क्या वैल्यू क्रिएट कर सकते हो. एग्जाम्पल दे देता हूं. कोई यहाँ पे लेट्स से कोडर है, ठीक है, 23 या 24 साल का लड़का या लड़की, कोई अच्छा बहुत बढ़िया कोडिंग करती है. हाउ दैट पर्सन कैन लेवरेज सोशल मीडिया और डिजिटल. आपने जाके वैल्यू क्रिएशन कैसे करनी है? आपने वैल्यू क्रिएशन करनी है कि इंस्टाग्राम या कोई भी प्लेटफॉर्म के आगे, आज मैं आपको बताती हूँ कि 3 वेज कोड कैसे बेटर किया जा सकता है, कैसे बेटर लिख सकते हैं. आपका काम पर्सनल ब्रांड बनाना नहीं है. आपका काम है कि आपको कोडिंग आती है, आपने दुनिया को कोडिंग सिखानी है. क्योंकि आप बहुत बढ़िया अपने काम में, वो प्रोसेस आपका पर्सनल ब्रांड बनाएगा. ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. और सबसे बढ़िया पर्सनल ब्रांड पता क्या होता है? जब कोई मुश्किल में आपको फोन करता है, बोलता है भाई समर दिक्कत है, और अगर फोन आ रहे हैं ना तो आपका पर्सनल ब्रांड है, और अगर नहीं फोन आ रहे हैं ना तो नहीं है पर्सनल ब्रांड.
Great, amazing. So I hear the same thing, adding value is key, I believe. Next up, Jivraj, you do a deep dive with founders on your podcast. What is that one or two insights that you would want to share कि company के growth में impact आया because of content, because the role that content played?
Yeah, I think Shashank of Whole Truth. How many folks here know of the company The Whole Truth? They're a very, you must look it up.
But that says a lot about how small our world of D2C consumption is and how big the India opportunity is.
Exactly. So Whole Truth, for reference, is a food company. They do protein bars. They do a lot. Should put this content out. He built a product on top, built a company on top. That company is now valued at more than about like 2,000 crores in revenue today. And he stands as the ambassador of that company because he just embodies it. It is his lifestyle. He lives it. He breathes it. And he just says what he truly believes it because it's what he sort of lives, right? So I think that's the center of what you have to do. You have to believe in it. You have to live it. Only then can you be authentic. And today's channels allow you to interact with the customer directly. 50 साल पहले ये possible नहीं था. 50 साल पहले you couldn't have willing to buy a product off the shelf. They're interested in what's more out there. And if you can leverage that, I think the world is your oyster, right? So I think Whole Truth is the best example that comes to mind. I love what they have done. And Arjun here, in fact, is a living example of on the panel itself. How many of you follow Arjun Vaidya on Instagram? Let's change that. Take a minute to follow him. I'm not endorsing him by any means. I can tell you that you will learn more than you will learn on this panel in the next 15 days by following him than you will learn by observing us today in the next 30 minutes or the entire day for that matter. But Arjun does incredible content that helps all kinds of founders to build the next set of opportunities in the country, right? Like think of premiumization, think of the kitchen, think of healthy desserts. He talks about everything. He's invested across the board. And so if you follow him, you will know where to build, what are the opportunities, what you can do off from them. You may not want to build a company ever, but you will be just so much more aware. That's true value add, and then that directly attributes to his investing business. So these are in ways in which you can sort of leverage true value add. Like we've been saying value, but that only means that you should do something. You have something to share that is better, more aware than everybody else, and you are putting it out there. Arjun knows investing in consumer businesses better than most people in the country. He's the top 0.0001% in the country. He shares that, and that benefits all of us. Figure out what that is for you, and if you want to make content, that is the space you have to go after. Everything else will follow. And Simar was so on point in mentioning whatever he did.
So there is chatter about value addition. 3 of you are talking about value addition. Amit, question for you. In तीनों का धंधा value addition पे चलता है. Content and value addition is correlated. In your line of business, my understanding is experience is what will bring in business. So how have you been able to convert engagement or content into revenue and growing the company to the level that it is today?
I think so. Pehle to I think forget about revenue and forget about all those metrics that matter. First is it relevant for that audience? So anything that you're putting out, लोग सोचते हैं कि again similar to what Simar said, लोग शुरुआत करते हैं कि मुझे personal brand बनाना है. लोग शुरुआत करते हैं मुझे ये product बेचना है. That is where people go wrong generally. Because you're thinking only from your perspective. You're not thinking from the perspective of what someone actually wants to see and what they want to learn. So I think वो पहले crack करना बहुत ज़रूरी रहता है. Once you know कि okay, this is what, like for us it was very simple, and fortunately every property of ours is unique, every property is different, and that people keep adding to their list. So it just creates more diversity, interest and engagement for us. So that made it easy for us. So just showcase these properties. That was the easy bit. Now from there, what do you do? How do you actually turn that into revenue? Is the question. The way we looked at it was that just keep becoming a part of people's bucket list. automatically at some point people will come and stay with you. That's all we have to focus on. So if people are constantly adding this to their list, sharing with all their friends, sharing it on their friends and family WhatsApp group saying idhar jana hai hame, that's success for us, right? Uske baad conversion aa hi jayega. And how do we measure that? If you ask us, is about 50% of our business is a repeat guest or someone who's been referred. Right, so that metric is a direct impact of someone engaging with us, even at that start phase of looking at our content.
And one thing I'll say about this is कि लोग सोचते हैं कि Instagram पे views आते, shares आते तो business आ जाता है. Actual testament to Amit's business is मेरे dad की 60th birthday है in April, so we are planning a family trip in May to go somewhere, and we were having a discussion yesterday about this. And my mom said, यार वो विस्टा रूम्स का कसौली में mansion है ना, मुझे वहाँ ही जाना है because WhatsApp group पे सब ये photo भेजते हैं. My mom is not using Instagram at all, but she said I want to go there because all my friends are going there and they're talking about it. That's real value.
So it's network effect, and he's built again maybe a personal. You could say he's definitely built a brand now.
100%. I mean, I also have a story to add, right? The first time I went to a Stay Vista was last year in April. Since then, as a friend group, we were 7 of us who went. 8 of us now have gone to 4 of their properties since, because we had such a good experience. And we put up Instagram stories always when we are at their property because it's just fundamentally shareable. We went to Alibag, to a Stay Vista property. It was silent, it was serene, it has swimming pool, it had a volleyball court. It was amazing. I mean, even if like nobody asked me, I would share it. That's the sort of experience loop that they have built in their properties. And as he said, it's just so unique. Like we discuss, by the way, now we don't discuss where we have to go. We discuss which Stay Vista property do we have to stay. Literally, that's the discussion in our friend.
और most importantly, MS धोनी directly इनको message करता है कि next time जब property जाने तो धोनी साहब भी जाते हैं, वो भी बता दें.
I think हमारा product bungalow या villa है, but everyone has a product, right? Every individual has a product where they have a natural competitive advantage. बस अगर आप वो figure out कर लोगे, वो सबसे difficult part होती है कि how do you figure out your advantage on some topic or the other that you can speak about or you can showcase.
Also, Amit is potentially creating a new category. It probably does not exist abhi filhal. He's probably, I mean, their company is a pioneer in luxury villa stays. So kudos to that, Amit. Simar, for you, you're from a different industry, infrastructure building, and you've built a 1,000 crore plus company, valuation 4,000 crore, you know, illustrious background. How has content played a role, and where are you taking this journey ahead with investing so much of your time into content?
यार पता नहीं मेरी valuation 4,000 है ज़्यादा पता नहीं मुझे ये this is another thank you for that, but मुझे valuation समझ नहीं आती. मुझे समझ आता है revenue, profit, और that profit converts into cash flow, right? So that is what I understand. That is a business I understand. But here I don't think यार कि now today digital is any industry perspective. When we started back in 2011-12, we built India's first solar plant. I remember that कि Facebook was the only thing, right? उस time पे तो हम Facebook पे डालते होते थे. And then I figured in 2014-15 that for me the right platform might be LinkedIn, right? So हम LinkedIn पे post करना लग गए. So I think again I'll come to the first point which I shared. For us it has always been, I personally do that. It's project sites going across India. Whenever I go to a project site, let's say right now we're building Rajasthan's largest solar plant. So I went there and recorded a video there with all the people there and explained the ecosystem. भाई क्या चल रहा है कि इतना कार्बन एमिशन बचेगा 1100 एकड़ में, ये भी कहना कि वैल्यू क्या क्रिएट करो. अगर मैं रितिका जी को ये बता सकता हूँ कि यार ये सोलर, जो कि इस बैकग्राउंड से नहीं है सोलर से, उनको ये बता सकता हूँ कि मेरी वीडियो से उनको पता लग गया कि ये सोलर प्लांट जो सिमर ने लगाया है इससे इतना कार्बन एमिशन बचेगा, इतने पेड़ लग गए और इतना पावर कंजम्पशन इंडिया को बच गया, हो गया ना यार. सो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि टुडे कंटेंट इज इंडस्ट्री वो एग्नोस्टिक है. आपको बनाना है, आपको फोकस करना है वैल्यू क्रिएशन पे कि आप एजुकेट क्या कर रहे हो, और सब कुछ सही है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप इंफ्रा बना रहे हो या टेक बना रहे हो, बनाओ यार और सही बनाओ.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. Arjun, you've been the poster boy on Instagram for a lot of people in the D2C segment for sure. You're the king. You used to run a D2C company. Now you've started investing in D2C companies. Has your content strategy changed since then? Is it two different ball games, or do you see it as one single funnel?
Yeah, honestly, मैं बताऊँ तो I did not think so much and still don't think so much about what content I put out. And I started this maybe 5 years ago जब COVID की time थी, तो we ran an Ayurvedic products business and Ayurvedic products बहुत demand में थे, हम online बेच रहे थे, तो our demand spiked, but we didn't have people to work with us, right? हमारे warehouse में 30-40 लोग थे. It became 6 people in the warehouse. And so every day when I used to go home, I used to use the help of everyone at home to put the shipping labels on the envelopes ताकि जब हम warehouse में जाए तो हमारा काम आसान हो जाए. तो I used my mom's help, my dad's help, my brother's help, वो अलग business में है. And my dadi was like 76, 77 years old at the time, and I used to use her help as well. And I found it amazing that my dadi at 11 at night was sticking shipping labels so that my customers get their product on time. So I took one photo of my dadi and I posted it and I said, this is how we stay open during COVID and get your orders. And that went viral and people really appreciated it. And then I said, जो हम कर रहे हैं ये समय में कोविड में वो यूनिक है और लोगों को दिखाना है कि how are not just my business, how our business is staying open at this time. And that's how the journey started. I think the one thing which I am very clear about, अभी followers हो गए तो लोग पूछते हैं, बोलते हैं ये strategy करो, वो strategy करो. जब इंडिया जीतेगा ना क्रिकेट मैच, तो लिंक्डइन पे इंडिया के क्रिकेट मैच के बारे में पोस्ट आ ही जाएगा because I love cricket. It may be totally irrelevant to the जनता on LinkedIn who wants to hear about business, but I believe it, and so I post about it. Sometimes I talk about like not being able to spend time with my kid and what that means, but that is what I care about, what I want to write about, right? तो ऐसा कोई इतना deep thought process strategy नहीं है. अभी मैं सिमर से मिल रहा हूँ, एक conversation हुआ before we entered this room which I thought was meaningful. I'll talk about that, right? So I think ये ज़माने में, and we were talking about it before we entered as well, लोगों को authenticity चाहिए, लोगों को relatability, right? You want to be able to, like you are having this conversation with me today, you want to be able to understand what I'm saying. And so I think for me the strategy is share what you know, what you like, and if people like it, great, and there will be people who like it. And everyone in the world doesn't have to like what we do, right? उससे I think as a founder, as an entrepreneur, मेरी brand की publicity बढ़ गई, लोगों को brand का नाम, लोगों को brand, people understood the brand name came from them. Now my currency is what? I'm a VC, I'm an investor, right? So today if I message you and you have seen me before and you reply to my message, that's my currency. When I started this, 2 in 10 people replied, now 8 in 10 people reply. When I started this, I came and sat on this dais with Simar 3 years ago at TiECON Chandigarh. I'm back here and clearly Simar cared enough to invite me, so I'm doing something right. So thank you guys for having me back.
Amazing, fantastic. So last 5 minutes, guys. Let's do a quick rapid fire. I just need keywords from you. In the changing world of social media, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, constantly bringing in new platforms. How do you stay ahead? How do you adapt your content strategy? Keywords.
Authenticity.
Maybe same only one, authentic.
Something outside. Like everything that's on there is not what people want to see. They want to see something outside. So Netflix se nikalo idea.
So different, something different. Simar, do you have any?
I think being yourself, that's it. Authenticity is very, very important.
Fantastic. So AI is shaping content creation. How do you see it helping or disrupting business in the coming years?
मैं एक सीक्रेट बताता हूँ. आप मेरे Instagram पे जाओ तो 70% of the videos are AI. I think it adds a lot of efficiency and optimization to the process. Yes, the voice is mine, the content is mine, but I don't have a camera in front of me 24/7. But it allows me to get that message out faster.
Yeah, I think don't miss the bus. We weren't around as much for the the semiconductor wave, the internet wave, the cloud wave, because it all entered perhaps India and our geography later. I think it helps.
We have a quick round of applause for the Honorable Minister, please. Huge round of applause, please.
One word advice, or you can make it 2 or 3 also, for the young budding entrepreneurs here. what would you want to tell them today before you leave this dais?
I तो भी controversial advice तो मैं end में देखा हूँ पहले बोल दूँ.
I feel all three of them here around me, they've been at it for a long time. I don't think they've been thinking of it कि like यार brand बनाना है, पर consistency is the key. मतलब राहुल द्रविड़ है, ये बस practice करते ही रहते हैं और खेलते ही रहते हैं until something clicks.
हाँ, I would say कि there is no overnight success. Don't take shortcuts.
देखो हमने ना जब क्या पे जब बिल्ड किया था राइट, आज लोग बोलते हैं कि आप थर्ड लार्जेस्ट बने आप सोलर में राइट. आई थिंक कोई भी चीज काम करनी है राइट, इट हैज टू बी, यू हैव टू बी ट्रू टू योरसेल्फ राइट. कंट्रीब्यूशन एडवाइस पता क्या है, आज के टाइम पे जो लोग कंटेंट में आ रहे हैं, मैं भी मतलब 30 सेकंड में एक चीज बता देता हूँ. लोग कहते हैं कि भी चलो आपने ना आज मेरे पॉडकास्ट 700-800 सब्सक्राइबर हो गए, उसका एक छोटा नेफ्यू है फंक्शन में मिलता है. ये ना बहुत ध्यान से सुनने वाली बात है, जो कंटेंट में जाने वाले ठीक है. 800-900 आगे उसके सब्सक्राइबर, 8-9 वीडियो भी बना दी उसने. अब वो क्या कहता है, वो एक फंक्शन में ना अपने नेफ्यू को मिलता है. नेफ्यू तू क्या है, आपके तो सिर्फ 800-900 सब्सक्राइबर है, कुछ भी नहीं है आपके तो. उसको भैया को बड़ी बुरी बात लगती है. भैया कहते हैं यार ये चिंटू बड़ा तंग कर रहा है. वो जाके ना सबसे वर्स्ट चीज आप पता क्या कर सकते हो जो कंटेंट में करना है, सब्सक्राइबर खरीदने. आप जाके सब्सक्राइबर खरीदते हो, चिंटू को अगले दिन फोन करते हो, चिंटू को बोलते हो चिंटू मेरे 30,000 सब्सक्राइबर हो. और चिंटू बहुत तेज है. चिंटू पता कौन है, चिंटू 20 साल वाला है. उसको मजे कर रहा है. वो कहता ऐसे कैसे भैया, आपके अगर 30,000 सब्सक्राइबर है, आपने जो वीडियो डाली उस पर व्यू तो 50 आए. तो भैया को लगता है यार ये तो चिंटू तो बहुत तेज है. वो क्या करता है, उसके बाद एक ट्रैप है, दिस इज अ ट्रैप. वो कहता है व्यूज खरीदता है. 30,000 सब्सक्राइबर, 4K व्यूज हो गए. चिंटू को फोन करा, चिंटू 30,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स हो गए, व्यूज 5K हो गए. कहते हैं भैया लाइक तो 0 ही है. फिर जाके लाइक खरीदता है. फिर चिंटू उनको फोन करता है और चिंटू उनको बोलता है भैया आपको चेकमेट कर दिया मैंने. कहते हैं कैसे, कहता है आप कमेंट्स नहीं खरीद सकते. कोई भी काम करना है ना, कोई भी काम करना, बी ट्रू टू योरसेल्फ एंड शो द वैल्यू. When we started the podcast, the idea was can we create value? Can we bring people जिनसे आप लोग सीख के आओ. एंड ये लड़का जिवराज यहाँ बैठा ना, ये मिसाल है. इस साल के स्टार्टिंग में ना जनवरी 2024 he was at 10K, आज 100K पे बैठा है. ओनली, और कितने साल लगे, 5 साल लगे. बी ऑथेंटिक, जो काम करना है ना बढ़िया तरीके से करो एंड जस्ट बी ट्रू टू योरसेल्फ. जब आप सच करोगे ना, अपने आप पर्सनल ब्रांड बढ़ेगा, अपने आप बढ़िया होगा. आज हमें लोग पूछते हैं कि आपने इंडिया की थर्ड लार्जेस्ट कंपनी कैसे बना दी. भाई लग गया, मतलब 15 साल का ओवरनाइट सक्सेस हो गया. सो यू हैव टू बी एट इट एंड बी ऑथेंटिक. दैट्स इट.
Lovely, fantastic. With that, I bring the panel to a closure. I really appreciate all of your time. Thanks a lot for coming down to Chandigarh and talking to our audience here. Big round of applause for all my panelists, please. Thanks.
I would request her more. The universe is probably made of more stories than it is of atoms, and I think this conversation around stories, content and storytelling unfolded beautifully, all thanks to our esteemed speakers and moderator. Felicitations are in order, ladies and gentlemen. Could I please request Mr. Vijay Sandhu from Soft Television to join us on the dais to felicitate this esteemed panel. Ladies and gentlemen, first up, please give it up for Mr. Jivraj Singh Sachar, startup storytelling expert, venture capital analyst, and host of India's #1 business podcast, Indian Silicon Valley. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Amit Damani, co-founder of Vista Rooms, India's leading, fastest growing budget hotel aggregator. He's an avid reader as also a marketing expert. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a loud round of applause for Mr. Arjun Vaidya, who's built Dr. Vaidya's into India's largest online Ayurveda brand. He's now investing and mentoring startups via V3 Ventures. And last but not the least, Mr. Sumarpreet Singh, CEO of Hartek Group and founder of Hartek Solar, national renewable energy leader. And for bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together beautifully, let's give it up for our moderator, Mr. Sumit Sachdev, FCCA, founder of Lucria, Cambridge University alumnus, a chess enthusiast, and a theatre lover. Well, that was the conversation on thriving on digital gold, leveraging content for business success. And now we've arrived at the most awaited part of this evening. We've been joined by our Honourable Minister, Shri Tarunpreet Singh Sondh, Honourable Rural Development Panchayats, Industries and Commerce, Hospitality, Labour, Tourism, Cultural Affairs and Investment Promotion Minister, Punjab. Can we have a loud round of applause for our Honourable Minister, Shri Tarunpreet Singh Sondh? And to extend a warm welcome to him, I would now like to invite on the dais President TiECON Chandigarh, Mr. Satish Kumar Arora.
दात करिए खुशी खुशी ना लाभ दी आस जो वंडो सो वदे यही जिंदगी दी रास गिव विद जॉय नॉट फॉर गेन वट यू शेयर ओनली ग्रोज अगेन सत्कारयोग साडे पंजाब दे इंडस्ट्रीयल मिनिस्टर तरनप्रीत सिंह सोन जी साडे लिए बड़े मान की गल है कि अज असी आप जी की मौजूदगी विच विशेष समागम कर रहे हैं। ये टाइकॉन चंडीगढ़ का 10वां एडिशन है। असी आप जी का तहे दिलों स्वागत करते हैं। आप जी की दूरदर्शी अगवाई हेठ पिछले कुछ सालों विच एंटरप्रेन्योर MSME ते इंडस्ट्रीयल रेवोल्यूशन के नवे मापदंड स्थापित हो रहे हैं। पिछले साल इस साल जदों असी ये समागम करिया सी 9वां समागम उनदे विच एक गल रखी सी भगवंत मान जी ने कि जेड़ा एक खेतर है IT ते टेक्नोलॉजी का हब बनना चाहिए ते असी जे इस साल गल करिए तां ये दिखदा होया नज़र आ रहा है किते ना किते एक साल दे विच जिवें पंजाब दीयां 5 नदियां पंजाब दी उपजाऊ जमीन ते सिंचाई विच पानी प्रदान करदियां हन ऐसे तरह टाई चंडीगढ़ दे 5 पिलर्स मेंटरिंग एजुकेशन नेटवर्किंग इनक्यूबेशन ते फंडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप नूं प्रोत्साहित करन विच समर्पित हन। आज टाई चंडीगढ़ पंजाब के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स नूं ग्लोबल एक्सपोजर गाइडेंस और फंडिंग के मौके के बदलाव विच हिस्सा बनने ते गौरव महसूस करता है। टाई चंडीगढ़ एक ग्लोबल संस्था है जिहड़ी सिलिकॉन वैली तो 2003 दे विच उजागर हुई। टाई ग्लोबल एक नॉन प्रॉफिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जिसकी मौजूदगी आज 15 तो वध देशों ते 60 तो वध चैप्टरां दे नाल 12,000 मैंबरां दे नाल प्रेजेंट है। टाई ग्लोबल एक महत्वपूर्ण मील पत्थर असी पिछले साल पूरा किया यूनाइटेड नेशंस ग्लोबल कंपैक्ट का मैंबर बन के जिंदे की मेन जेड़ा गोल है वो है कि यूनिवर्सल सस्टेनेबिलिटी के सिद्धांत को लागू करना। ये अचीवमेंट टाई द्वारा साडे SDG गोल्स जिन्हों की असी सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स की गल करिए तो उनकी वचनबद्धता नूं सानूं होर मजबूत कर दी है। टाई ग्लोबल का प्रभाव दी जेड़ी गिनती है दिन ब दिन बढ़ रही है। 5000 स्टूडेंट्स जेड़े की लर्निंग वर्कशॉप्स दे विच शामिल हो चुके हैं। 6000 विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स टाई विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स इनिशिएटिव्स नाल जुड़ियां हैं ते 800 तो ज़्यादा पार्टनरशिप विद अदर एजुकेशनल प्राइवेट एंड गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट से नाल एक ग्लोबल लेवल ते हैगी। ते टाई चंडीगढ़ ना केवल MSME ते उद्योगां लई बल्कि ये इलाके दे बहुत सारे स्कूल ते यूनिवर्सिटीज़ दे नाल भी जमीनी पद्धर ते काफ़ी काम कर रहे हैं। साडे TYE प्रोग्राम टाई यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स प्रोग्राम जिंदे च कि 9वीं तो 12वीं जमात दे असीं विद्यार्थियों लई तैयार कीता है। इन्हां विच विद्यार्थियों की उद्यमी सोच नूं उत्साह मिलता है ते उन्हां दे बिजनेस आइडिया इनोवेशन ते पिचिंग दे हुनर विच एक विकास दिखदा नजर आया है। साडे TiECON दे प्रोग्राम राही असी एकेडमिक ते बिजनेस वर्ल्ड दे विच फर्क घटा रहे हैं। 12 ਤੋਂ ਜੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਮੁੱਖ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਹਾਲ ਹੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਇੱਕ ਨੇ TGS ਬੈਂਗਲੌਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲਿਆ। ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਐਕਸਪੋਜ਼ਰ ਬਟ ਇੱਕ ਨਕਦ ਇਨਾਮ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਤਸਾਹਨ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਕੁਝ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪਸ ਤੇ MSME ਸ਼ਾਰਕ ਟੈਂਕ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਸੋਨੀ TV ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਈਡੀਆਜ਼ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਨ। ਟਾਈ ਵਿਮਨ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਉਦਮੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਈ ਦੇ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਪਿਚ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਲਾਸਟ ਈਅਰ ਦਸੰਬਰ 2024 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਫਾਈਨਲਿਸਟ ਵਿਮਨ ਲੈਡ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਟਾਈ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਨੇ ਮੈਂਟਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਤੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਗ੍ਰਾਂਟ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ TGS ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੌਪ 5 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਈ, ਐਕਸਟੈਂਡਡ ਏਵੀਏਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲੀ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵਿਮਨ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰੀਨਿਓਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਜ਼ਬੂਤ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਟਾਈ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਟੋਟਲ 450 ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ 3 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 20,000 ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਤੇ 300 ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪਸ ਤੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੈਂਟਰਿੰਗ, ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਇਨਕਿਊਬੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਉਪਰਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟਾਈ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਕੈਟੇਗਰੀ B ਚੋਂ ਕੈਟੇਗਰੀ A ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ 2024 ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣੇ ਦਿਖਾਈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤੇ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਉਪਰਾਲੇ ਤੇ ਉਪਲਬਧੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਪਿਛਲੇ 1 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰੀਨਿਓਰਸ ਤੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਤੇਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ TiECON ਦੇ 10ਵੇਂ ਐਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੱਲ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ MSME ਨੂੰ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਅਤੇ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਰ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਐਂਜਲ ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਅਸੀਂ 5 ਕਰੋੜ ਦੀ ਨਿਵੇਸ਼ ਰਕਮ ਸੁਨਿਸ਼ਚਿਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਟ ਵੀ ਹੋਈ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਕਲਾਸ ਕਰਵਾਈਆਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪਸ ਤੇ MSMEs ਨੂੰ AI ਤੇ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਿਖਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਕੱਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ MSME ਲਈ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਬੋਰਡ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਲਾਂਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੋਹਾਲੀ, ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਫੈਲਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ 12 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਪੁੱਜੇ ਹਾਂ, ਟਾਈ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਮਾਨੈਂਟ ਆਫਿਸ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵਧਾ ਸਕੀਏ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਿਆਂ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਸਕੀਏ। ਜੇਕਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਕੰਮ ਲਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਹੋ ਸਕੇਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਆਸ਼ਾਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਨੂੰ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰੀਨਿਓਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਤੇ ਇਨੋਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ IT ਤੇ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਖੇਤਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਪੱਧਰੀ ਕੇਂਦਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
Many thanks to our president for addressing the audience so wonderfully. And now let's hear it from someone who's a key bureaucrat and policy maker in the Punjab government. He plays a pivotal role in driving economic growth and government reforms. And in his keynote, he shares insights on what goes on behind the scenes in making policies that drive innovation, infrastructure development, and Punjab's roadmap for business and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Tejveer Singh, Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Punjab, Department of Local Government, Industries and Commerce, Promotion of IT Industry, Investment Promotion, Punjab. All yours, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you on this occasion of the annual TiECON, this get-together. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be with you and to share a few thoughts as to what we in the government of Punjab are doing to give a little added fillip and impetus to the growth of startups and businesses in this region. It's of course for all of you, it's a great occasion to get together, to share thoughts with each other. Outside, some lovely exhibitions have been put up, stalls by young entrepreneurs, many of them that have been also given some seed money, seed grant by the government of Punjab. So it's doubly gratifying for us to see the fruition of our little help that we gave to some of our young entrepreneurs. Let me share that as a department and as a state government, we are strongly committed to promoting this region in terms of, to create a favorable ecosystem where startups can be incubated, can be nurtured, and they can truly flower. I'm happy to say that from this part, from Punjab, we have about 1,700 odd startups that are registered with us and with Startup India from this part of the world. Like you are all aware, we have Startup Punjab with some dedicated officers that has been hand-holding these young entrepreneurs. Moment anyone registers with us, we assign them to a mentor institution. It could be IIT Ropar, it could be Thapar University, or ISER, ISB. So we have a clutch of such institutions that work with us. They appraise their business proposition, guide them, and recommend them for a seed grant of 3 lakhs. Now 3 lakhs is not a very big amount as such, but it's something we give to our young entrepreneurs if they have a good viable business proposition, because I think it just gives them that little money to play with, to see that they can try out their new ideas. I mean, not all ideas will be successful. You may have failures also, but then it's something that we feel that we strongly, and we would like to do this even more going forward in the coming year. Honorable Minister, who's here with us, he would also like to share some of his thoughts on this. May I add that we've been in repeated discussions with the young IT industry, and some of whom are even fairly big entrepreneurs, about your teething troubles, and I'm happy to say that many of those issues have been resolved. The Honorable Minister has been reviewing these matters very closely, and going forward, I'm sure you'll see many of those issues for which you've been coming to us for finding resolution. I'm happy to say that the state has been given the top performer ranking by Government of India, that is the Startup Punjab. So in all, it just shows that at least we are all on the right track. Of course, there is a lot more to be done, and in case if we are to truly, sorry for using a cliche, but to unleash the animal spirits of the young Punjabi entrepreneur, I think we will certainly do our very best to make that happen. As far as what the Startup Punjab, what are the incentives that are available besides the 3 lakh grant, I think they are all available in the brochures that have been shared with you, and we are very happy this is available on the website. There are some things which the industrial policy allows preferential treatment also for young startups. Last year, I remember Honorable Chief Minister had made shared an issue that we should also start setting up some kind of incubators outside of Mohali also. Sir, I'm happy to share that as part of that, we have set up an incubator in Ludhiana in our General Manager District Industry Center's office, and within this month it should be ready, and we'll have it formally dedicated to the people also. And likewise, in Amritsar, of course, we have a proper STPI. It's a 3-acre campus. But even other towns like Bathinda or Jalandhar, which are some of the prominent cities, we'll be very happy to do more in those areas and then take them to even other smaller places also. The other thing that which we've been trying to do is that this area has a very good, strong educational base. Frankly, entrepreneurship and startups are very closely linked with a strong educational base. I'm very happy that, in fact, if there is one unique strength which this area has, is the large number of, students, technically trained students from good quality institutions which are coming out every year. We have many people from the educational industry. We have Mr. Dhaliwal and many others here. Chitkara is a sponsor. I think the universities have also taken a very big leap forward in trying to create a favorable ecosystem within their institutions. But I think we need to learn from each other, and frankly, we should be second to none. That should be our challenge, because the youngsters have a lot of hope and energy. In fact, when we receive these applications for registration, or sometimes even seed money, we find some of these institutions, startups are incubated in the universities only. University jo baith ke, they are applying for grants. So even in Plaksha today, there are a lot of youngsters who are coming in. Like you, I was very happy when Mr. Arora announced that, there's the Angel Network is giving, funding support. So money will follow good ideas. There is no real shortage of angel investors. It's the real challenge is that we need to allow, and if you have a base of, let's say, many thousands, then definitely the pyramid, the wider the base, the higher the chances of people making it to the top of the pyramid. So I would suggest that, and we would be very happy, I requested ISV also, sir, to host an event, maybe a half-day event where we could invite all the universities in this region or all the educational institutions and come and discuss as to how we can further improve and do more for the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem in this area. So with these words, may I once again wish TiECON a very happy 10th anniversary and a lot of success going forward. The government of Punjab has been always working very closely with the Thai chapter here, not only in terms of small financial support for these events, but that's only a one-time issue. We value them. They are part of our startup, screening committees, and we hope that we can deepen this relationship so that collectively we can take this area forward and ensure better opportunities for the youth of our state. And of course, we would also be very happy to welcome people from outside of Punjab also, because I think Mohali and this area have great potential, in terms of it has good livability, an international airport, and, relatively cheaper living costs when you compare them to larger cities, in different parts of India. And within 50 kilometers you have mountains. So all in all, for what a young person really looks forward, Mohali and this area have all that to offer. So once again, thank you very much and all the very best.
Many thanks to you, sir. And, speaking of accomplishing dreams and writing a new story together, I'm reminded of something that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam used to say: dreams are not what you see in your sleep, but the things that don't let you sleep. So here's to achieving many more milestones together. And once again, felicitations are in order. To do the honors, could I please request President TiECON Chandigarh, Mr. Satish Arora, Vice President, Mr. Puneet Verma, and General Secretary, Mr. Brahm Alreja, to join us on the dais and felicitate our esteemed guest, Shri Tejveer Singh, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to invite someone indeed really special on the dais. Before I invite him, I would like to address him with this beautiful Sanskrit word, which goes something like this: Apadam Abhartaram, meaning one who removes difficulties. In his presence, all worries foreclose, and when he is there, we need not worry about anything. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our Honorable Rural Development Panchayats, Industries and Commerce, Hospitality, Labour, Tourism, Cultural Affairs and Investment Promotion Minister, Punjab, Shri Tarunpreet Singh Sondh. The applause needs to be a little louder here.
परम सत्कारयोग अज दी इस टाइकॉन कॉन्क्लेव जो कि साडे यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर अपनी जिंदगी दे सफ़र नूं स्टार्ट करन लई अपने बिजनेस दे सफ़र नूं स्टार्ट करन दे लई इस 10th प्रोग्राम जो एनुअल प्रोग्राम होंदा है इस दे 10th प्रोग्राम दे उत्ते बीइंग ए चीफ गेस्ट उरे मैनूं तुसीं बुलाया है मैनूं तह दिल दी गहराई तो इस गल दी खुशी भी है साडे परम सत्कारयोग CM पंजाब ऑनरेबल सरदार भगवंत सिंह जी मान साहब उन्होंने खुद इस प्रोग्राम दे विच आना सी बड़ा अर्जेंट कोई काम होने करके उन्होंने मेरी इमीडिएट ड्यूटी लगाई कि मिनिस्टर साहब मेरे बिहाफ के उत्ते तुसी जरूर जाना है मेरा टाइकॉन दे सारे ऑफिस बेरर्स दे नाल प्रॉमिस होया होया भी तुसी जरूर जाना है मैं कहा डेफिनेटली सर आई विल बी देयर मैं जाऊँगा मैं जरूर उत्थे हाजरी लगवा के आऊँगा सो मैं उरे जदों आया विजिट किया उरे देखा सारी स्टॉल्स दे उत्ते असीं गए न्यू स्टार्टअप्स दी स्टॉल्स ते भी गए जिहड़े उस तो एक मुकाम अगे निकल चुके ने जिहड़े रेवेन्यू जनरेशन करनी नूं चल पे ने असीं उन्हां दी भी स्टॉल्स ते गए बड़ी दिलों खुशी हुई देख के कि साडे युवा साडे यूथ दे विच कितनी एनर्जी है वो की कुछ करना चाहते हैं उन्होंने किहो जे सुपने ने उन्होंने को कितने आइडियाज़ ने यंग आइडियाज़ कितने ने और मैं तुहानूं एक गल दसदा बीइंग इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉमर्स मिनिस्टर ऑफ पंजाब साडे सत्कारयोग ACS सैकटरी साहब जो इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉमर्स नूं रूरल डेवलपमेंट एंड पंचायती राज नूं देखते हैं श्री तेजवीर सिंह जी जिहड़े मेरे तो पहला एड्रैस करके गए ने तो बहुत साढ़े वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट ऑफिसर्स दे विचों ये टॉप मोस्ट चलते हैं सो असी इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉमर्स नूं लैके पंजाब दी इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉमर्स नूं लैके साडा विजन बिल्कुल एकदम स्ट्रेट लाइन क्लीयर विजन है पंजाब दे विच न्यू इंडस्ट्री नूं लैके आउणा पंजाब दे विच न्यू स्टार्टअप्स नूं हुंगारा देना उन्हां नूं प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड करवाना साडी प्राथमिकता है साडी प्रायोरिटी है और उस दे विच किसी भी किस्म दी सानू कोई मतलब कि तुहानूं लगदा होवे भी इस जगह दे उत्ते मतलब कि यंग स्टार्टअप्स नूं साडी सरकार दे विच इह चीज़ की जरूरत है भी आह चीज़ की सानू स्पैशल कोई रिफॉर्म करने ने किसी किस्म की वी आर अवेलेबल असी रेडी हैं असी करन नूं तैयार है साडे को कोई असी इस तरह नहीं कि असी अपने आप नूं किसी किस्म नाल ब्रैकेट्स लगा के क्लोज किया होया साडे कोई ब्रैकेट्स नहीं साडे कोल सारा जिहड़ा है असी ये जिहड़ी गवर्नमेंट है क्योंकि पंजाब के अंदर जिहड़ी गवर्नमेंट है वो आम आदमी पार्टी की गवर्नमेंट है सो साडे नैशनल कन्वीनर श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ते जिहड़े साडे मुख्यमंत्री पंजाब सरदार भगवंत सिंह मान जी मेरी कितनी सैवरल मीटिंग्स साड़ियाँ अक्सर होंदियां ने तो मैं अक्सर जदों उन्हां दे विजन नूं देखदा तो मैनूं बड़ी खुशी भी हुंदी है ਕਿ ਐਟ ਲੀਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਲਾਈਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਉਹ ਲੀਡਰਸ ਨੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੋਸਟ ਹਾਈਲੀ ਕਮਿਟਡ ਤੇ ਹਾਈਲੀ ਇੰਟੈਲੈਕਚੁਅਲ ਪਰਸਨਸ ਨੇ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਸਟਰੈਂਥ ਹੈ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਸਟਰੈਂਥ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਪੂਰੇ ਆਲ ਓਵਰ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੰਟੈਲੈਕਟਸ ਦੀ ਔਰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਯੂਥਸ ਯੰਗ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਟਰੈਂਥ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਖੁਦ ਦੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਹੋਵੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਉਹੀ ਜਿਹੇ ਆਈਡੀਆਜ਼ ਹੋਣ, ਉਹੀ ਜਿਹੇ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਹੋਣ, ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਨਿਊ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਚੰਗਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਸ ਕੌਨਕਲੇਵ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਆਇਆ, ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਰਮ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਰਛਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਟਾਲਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰਨ ਗਏ। ਮੇਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਵਾਂਗ ਹਰ ਸਮੇਂ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਔਰ ਲੋਕ ਸਭਾ ਹਲਕਾ ਫਤਿਹਗੜ੍ਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਲੜੇ ਨੇ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ GP ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵੀ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ ਉਰੇ। ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਆਫਿਸਰ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਅਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਟਾਈਕੌਨ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈੱਡ ਨੇ, ਜੋ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਹੈੱਡ ਨੇ, ਸਤੀਸ਼ ਕੁਮਾਰ ਅਰੋੜਾ ਜੀ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ। ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਗਹਿਰਾਈ ਤੋਂ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਰੇ ਬੁਲਾਇਆ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ। ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਮਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ। ਵੈਨ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਸਿਟਿੰਗ ਵਿਦ ਦੀ ਸੈਕਟਰੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਅਸੀਂ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਜਣੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ। ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਹੋਰ ਚੰਗਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਯੰਗ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰੇਨਿਓਰ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਅੱਛਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਮ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕੀ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਟਾਰਟਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਡ ਮਨੀ ਤਾਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ 3 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪੀਜ਼, ਪਰ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਸਮਾਲ ਅਮਾਊਂਟ, ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਯੰਗ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਇੰਸਟੀਟਿਊਟਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਥਾਪਰ ਪੋਲੀਟੈਕਨਿਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, IIT ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਸਕੂਲ ਆਫ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ISB ਹੈ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਇੰਸਟੀਟਿਊਟਸ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋੜ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਇੰਸਟੀਟਿਊਟਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਟੀਰੀਆ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰਿਕਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੀਡ ਮਨੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ 3 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਈਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੀਡ ਮਨੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਈਡੀਆਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਕਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ। ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਔਰ ਆਈ ਅਸ਼ਿਓਰ ਕਿ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਕੁਛ ਹੀ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਕੰਕਰੀਟ ਇੱਕ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਇਸ ਮੇਰਾ ਉਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਨਾਊਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਸੀਡ ਮਨੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਛ ਅੱਛਾ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਲੈਵਲ ਅੱਪਰ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੁਛ ਅੱਛਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਉਣਗੇ, ਅਸੀਂ 10 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਈਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨ ਬਿਟਵੀਨ ਹੋਰ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਦੀ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ, ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਪੂਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਉਹ ਬਣਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਗਰੋ ਕਰਨ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਦ ਇੱਕ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਫਰੋਮ ਦੀ ਲਾਸਟ 3 ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਮੇਰੇ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡਫਾਦਰ ਨੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਫਾਦਰ ਨੇ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਕੀਤਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਖੁਦ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਦਿੱਕਤਾਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲਾਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਦਿੱਕਤਾਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲੈਗ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਨੇ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੇੜੇ ਕੱਢਣੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਸਭ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਐਨ ਗ੍ਰਾਸ ਰੂਟ ਲੈਵਲ 'ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਦਾ। ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਕੱਢਣ ਲਈ, ਉਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਮਸਲਾ ਹੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਵਕਤ, ਹਰ ਪਲ ਤਤਪਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟਲ ਵਰਕ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਕਰ ਦਈਏ। ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਯੰਗ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਕੋਈ, ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਐਂਡ ਕਾਮਰਸ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਅਰਬਨ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੋਕਲ ਬਾਡੀਜ਼ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ। ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਆਫਟਰ ਦੀ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪਲ ਲਿਮਿਟਸ ਲਗਾਵੇ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੰਚਾਇਤੀ ਰਾਜ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਪਵੇ। ਸੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਵਰਕਆਊਟ ਸਾਡਾ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਹਾਫ, ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਡਨ ਹਾਫ ਵਰਕ, ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੰਮ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਹੈ, ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਟਿਡ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਟਿਡ ਕਿਵੇਂ? ਹਰ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਉਹ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਬਟਨ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਉਹ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼ੋਕੇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਹੋਊਗਾ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਚਾਹੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਨਵਾਂ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਚਾਹੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਗਰੋ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਚਾਹੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਪਰਮਿਸ਼ਨਸ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੰਗਲ ਵਿੰਡੋ ਜੇ ਕਹਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਵੀ ਵਿਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਦ ਸਿੰਗਲ ਵਿੰਡੋ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀ ਆਲਸੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੰਗਲ ਵਿੰਡੋ ਕਨੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਔਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਟਡ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਦੋ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਦੱਸਣੀਆਂ, ਬੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੜੀ ਆਨਰ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਹੈ, ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਸਾਡਾ 28 ਸਟੇਟਸ ਇਨ ਦੀ ਭਾਰਤ ਐਂਡ 8 ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਟੈਰੀਟਰੀਜ਼ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਹੈ। ਸੈਕੰਡਲੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੇਕਰ ਮੈਂ MSMEs ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂ, ਮਾਈਕਰੋ ਸਮਾਲ ਐਂਡ ਮੀਡੀਅਮ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰਾਈਜ਼ ਦੀ, ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ MSME ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੂਰੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਰਜਿਸਟ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ, ਜੇਕਰ ਨਿਊ ਰਜਿਸਟ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਈਆਂ 55,000 MSMEs ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਰਜਿਸਟ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੰਮ ਉਰੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀਅਲ ਗਰੋਥ ਕਰਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ। ਦੇਖੋ, ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ MOU, ਮੈਮੋਰੈਂਡਮ ਆਫ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ। MOU ਕਈ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਕਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹਦੀ ਕੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਹੈ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣੀ ਤਾਂ MOU ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸੋ MOU ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ MOU ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਈਨ ਕੀਤੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ MOU ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰਨੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਮਿਟਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਲਗਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੈਫ ਕਾਮਨ ਐਪਲੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਫਾਰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਇੱਕ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕੈਫ ਭਰਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹਦਾ ਕੈਫ ਕਦੋਂ ਭਰਿਆ? MOU ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਪੇਪਰ ਤੇ ਹੈ, ਕੈਫ ਐਟਲੀਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਭਰਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਸੋਲਿਡ ਗਰਾਊਂਡਸ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਲੈਂਡ ਪਰਚੇਜ਼ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਜਾਂ ਆਕਸ਼ਨ 'ਚ ਆ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਟਸੋਐਵਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ, ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਲਿਡ ਗਰਾਊਂਡਸ ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਉਦੋਂ CAF ਕੈਫ ਭਰਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੈਫ ਹੈ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਬੜਾ ਮਾਣ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ 3 ਸਾਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ 90,000 ਕਰੋੜ ਰੁਪਏ ਦੇ ਕੈਫ ਭਰੇ ਨੇ। 90,000 ਕਰੋੜ ਰੁਪਏ, 90,000 ਕਰੋੜ ਦਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਇਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ 3 ਸਾਲਾਂ 'ਚ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ ਆਈ ਕੈਨ ਆਲਸੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਯੂ ਦਾ ਲਿਸਟ ਆਫ ਡੈਟ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟਾਟਾ ਗਰੁੱਪ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਜਮਸ਼ੇਦਪੁਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਸੀ, ਆਫਟਰ ਡੈਟ ਜਮਸ਼ੇਦਪੁਰ ਯੂਨਿਟ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਾਈਕਲ ਵੈਲੀ ਲੁਧਿਆਣੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 4,000 ਕਰੋੜ ਰੁਪੀਸ ਦੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਿਗੈਸਟ ਬਲਾਸਟ ਫਰਨਸ ਦਾ ਪਲਾਂਟ ਟਾਟਾ ਨੇ ਉਰੇ ਲਗਾਇਆ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਕ੍ਰੈਪ ਦੀ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਚੋਂ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਕ੍ਰੈਪ ਦੀ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਚੋਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਲਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਸਟੀਲ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਟਾਟਾ ਦੀ, ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਸਟਰੀ ਹੈ ਸਟੀਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਲੁਧਿਆਣਾ ਵਿਖੇ ਲਗਾਇਆ। SML ਸਵਰਾਜ ਮਾਜਦਾ ਲਿਮਟਿਡ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੋਪੜ ਵਿਖੇ ਰਖਾਇਆ। ਇੱਦਾਂ ਸਨਾਤਨ ਟੈਕਸਟਾਈਲਸ ਹੈ, ਵਰਬੀਓ, ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਨਵੀਆਂ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਰਸਡੀਜ਼, BMW ਦੇ OEMs ਨੇ, ਓਰੀਜਨਲ ਇਕਵਿਪਮੈਂਟ ਮੈਨੂਫੈਕਚਰਰਸ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਲਗਾਏ। ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਬੜਾ ਯੰਗ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰੇਨਿਓਰ ਔਰ ਬੜਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜਮੇ ਹੀ ਸਕ੍ਰੈਚ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਕੰਮ, ਇੰਦਰਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਅੱਜ ਉਰੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਡੇਰਾ ਬਸੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਐਂਡ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਬੱਸਿਸ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੰਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਵਿਦਨ 2-3 years ਅੱਜ 8,000 ਟਰੱਕਸ ਤੇ ਬੱਸਿਸ ਦਾ ਆਰਡਰ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਮਿਡਲ ਈਸਟ ਤੋਂ ਆਰਡਰ ਆਇਆ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਤੇ ਬੱਸਿਸ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਣੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿੱਡੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਟਾਰਟਅਪ ਹੈ, ਕਿੱਡਾ ਵੱਡਾ। ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਏ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਸ਼ਮ ਫਤਿਹ ਨਸੀਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਯਾਰ ਬਣਾਈ। ਤੇ ਜੇ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਉਦਮੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ, ਜਿਸਨੇ ਉਦਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਿਹਨੇ ਹਾਰਡ ਵਰਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਖੂਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਬਲੱਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਔਰ ਨੀਅਤ ਸਾਫ਼ ਤੇ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਹੋਵੇ, ਰੱਬ ਸਾਥ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਥ ਦਿੰਦਾ। ਜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੋਰ ਹੋਵੇ, ਮਨ 'ਚ ਖੋਟ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਸ ਟੋਪੀਆਂ ਘੁਮਾਉਣੀਆਂ